the new law leader for OP10 is here. Did they make a balanced law? Is it overpowered or does it underperform? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Mobby, and today I'm going to be giving you my personal deck list for this new Trafalgar Law leader, OP10, that works with the Supernovas. Make sure to like and subscribe, it really helps out the channel. I upload daily duels and deck profiles for different anime TCGs. Alright, so here we go guys, this is a deck profile I got for you. I haven't looked at any pre-made ones or any tournament ones. This is just what I've been making, and right off the bat I have to say this has been one of the most iffy leaders that I have had to build for. This is 100% a first draft. I'm going to be testing it out more, and then we're going to come back with a new revised version. But from what I can tell, there seems to be two different ways to kind of build this deck, because the way that his leader ability works is a little counterintuitive for the different sort of tempo that you want to play. So generalizing it, you can either play really early and get some really awesome minions out, or you want to go super late game. So this particular one, it's a little bit of mid game and early, and we'll talk about it, but just let you know there is a new one coming. Also, yeah, from seeing today's list, give me some suggestions. Maybe we can make a better deck together. All right, so let's talk about every single character, starting with the leader. So this is the Law from OP10, 5000 power. This is a green yellow leader. It has Dressrosa, Supernova, and Hard Pirates. So with one Dawn, activate main. If the total cost of your characters is 5 or more, you may return one character back to your hand. So really quick, the requirement is 5 or more, so you can have a 1 cost and a 4 cost. You could even have a 7 cost and a 1 cost. As long as it is 5 plus, then you're good to go. You can even, if you want, use it for the only character that you have, if you have a 5 cost plus, if you really want to do it that way. But if you're able to do so, you could reveal one card from the top of your live cards. So that is face down or up, doesn't matter. If that is a Supernovas with a 5 or less, you may play that card. So looking at this ability, you may think that you can get this out really quick, but the fact that you have to have a character that's 5 or more, meaning you're probably playing it at the very most turn 3 if you're going first, or turn 2 if you're going second, and that's only if you have another Dawn. So you're usually going to be playing this on your 3rd turn no matter what, if you're going first or second. And in that case, a 5, playing it from the top, it's a little not the best value, especially with some cards, but we'll go ahead and just talk about that, right? All right, so the first card we have here is You're the One Who Should Disappear. This is a staple in a lot of yellow decks from OP6, your 0 cost. You can trash one card to give somebody 3000 power, but of course the trigger is probably the best reason you want to put this in the deck. If you have 0 cards, meaning this is the last card to be revealed when your opponent attacks, leaving you at 0 life, you can heal one, then trash one. Amazing effect. We're running 2 of these. There is a way to set it up on top of the deck with a character that we'll talk about in later on. So the first card we're going to be talking about is going to be this Capone Gang Beige from STO2. I haven't used this card in a while, but I think it works really well. So this is a 1/1/0 counter, but it's so cheap to put out. And it just has an 8 blocker. It's Supernova, so it can be searched in this deck. It also is a Supernovas for any card that, you know, synergizes with it. So the reason why this is here, it's a card that's easy to throw out, that's easily bounceable, you know, easily bounced back, and also it acts as a blocker. But of course, if your opponent needs to remove it, of course it's not as good as a yellow Shirahoshi, you know, the one that gets KO'd and you get to put you get to heal. It's here, and if your opponent removes it, hey, they had to use some stuff. So I would say that this deck is going to be really weak to any sort of large black removal, wide removal, such as a Lucci deck. But anything with single target stuff, it's okay to put something this cheap in here that your opponent has to kind of get rid of with an effect. So it's not a problem at all. But yeah, if you have to bounce back a character, this is an easy one to put out with a low cost of 1 for that ability. Or it's something that you're going to play with another card that we have here. So we're only running 2 of these. I think the best card for you to bounce back, or one of the 2 cards, the best ones to bounce back with your leader's ability, will be this Luffy and the one underneath it that we'll talk about. So this is a new card from OP10. This is a 1/2/1 on play, top 5 Supernova except Luffy, then add the rest. So a best case scenario, right? You play this, you play 1 or 2 early games, and then your opponent might not even mess with it because it's just, you know, you have to commit 3 Dawn to attack with it. They're probably not going to do anything with it at all. Then when you're able to do this, you're going to be like turn 3, 4, 5. You're going to have a Luffy on the field so you can bring back to your hand and maybe play it. If not, at best case scenario, you got the value out of it and you're going to be using it as a counter. So that's one of your best bounce backs. Otherwise, oh wait, yeah, okay, there's this one as well. This is a new one for OP10. I'm using some custom art here. Okay, so Capone Gang Beige from OP10, Supernova, once again searchable. This is a 102. On play, you can go ahead and self-hurt the top or bottom, then add 1 character, Supernova, from the top of your life face up. So this is an interesting card because usually you don't have any way to flip up your deck with this particular leader that we're using, to flip up the top of your life rather. So if you end up playing this on turn 1, you can, you know, just grab a card from the top and then set up a Supernova to the top. In this deck, there are 8 cards that is actually a Supernova with a trigger, 4 of them that's used throughout the game, and the other 4 a little bit late game. So this one kind of works in place of Luffy if you want to use this your first or second turn, just as another sort of as another target to bounce back, because obviously you want a 2K in your hand, but this is a lesser sort of I would say priority. You would definitely want to play Luffy over Beige here, but there is a card you can put on top that is a pretty good trigger, and we'll, you know, it's the Basil Hawkins. We'll talk about it. So we're running 3 of them in here. And we're running 4 Kozuki Hyoris. This is a really good card in a lot of yellow decks. This is the Land of Wano Kozuki OP06 202. So on play, you self-hurt from the top or bottom, then add 1 card to the top of your life. It pretty much does the same thing that this does, except this is only Supernovas, while this is any card. Now, this is amazing because you can set up literally this one if you have 0, you know, if you have 1 life left, you take it, etc. Or you can later on set up this Capone Gang Beige, which it does not have the Supernova's archetype. It just has the fire tank, but it's a really good card to put on top. So this is any card, and then this is probably your second best. I said Capone, okay. So your best one for bouncing back will be Luffy, then Kozuki Hiyori for your leader's ability. You get the really awesome effect of setting up the top for a trigger or your last life, your final attack for you're the one who should disappear, and then you can bounce it back. So it's a really good ability. I'm running 4 of these. Now we're going to talk about the Jewelry Bonnie. This is probably your best card to summon on your second turn going first, because it's just another setup card. So this is OP10 341. It's just a really it's a blocker or 1 Dawn later if you want to attack. Okay, so on play, you add the top or bottom to your life again. Then you place 1 5 or lower Supernova. So it's pretty much has the same effect as this Capone Gang Beige, except this one is any Supernova, but you don't really want to put anything anything that's over a 5 on top. So it's this one, and then we have this one as a blocker. Once again, it's gonna be setting up your other cards, so that's why it's here. Okay, so this one doesn't really need that much explaining. This is Capone Gang Beige, OP04. This is really good to have in a lot of yellow decks in general because the trigger is just that strong. It's also just a good 2K. So the trigger is, of course, one of your opponent's leaders or characters cannot attack during this turn, meaning best case scenario, this is, it's gonna be the first card taken when your opponent has multiple attacks, so you can go ahead and, get rid of one. You can set it up on top of your life with Kozuki Hiyori only. Now we have these Basil Hawkins. This is from OP10. This is a 4/5/1 with on KO. You get to place 1 card from the top of your life, your opponent's life, into the trash. Now, this is like Larry. Here's the cat. Here's the get away cat. All right. So basically, this card, it works really well with the Eustass Kid deck. No, not the Larry, get out of here. Okay, so this works really well with the Eustass Kid leader in OP10 because you can give it blocker the turn that it comes out. Here, though, it's a decent card to throw out because you can still attack with it. Then your opponent has to decide if they want to remove it. But basically, it's here primarily for the trigger, which is draw 2, trash 1, because this is a Supernova, meaning you can set it up with Jewelry Bonnie. If you have multiples of these in your hand, it's one of the best cards to throw on top. You can also do it with Capone, and you can also do it with Hiyori. So this is your best card to put on top, just so you can get the benefit of drawing 2 and trashing 1 card. So we're running 4 of these, and then the other cards that are really good for putting on top of your life and acting as triggers is this other new Law card that came out in a promo set that is also, you know, around the OP10. So this is Supernova Hard Pirate 4/5/2. No effects, but the trigger is if your leader is Supernova, meaning it's really good in Law or the Kid deck, and you and your opponent's life cards are equal to a total of 5 or less, you get to play this card. So it's not good if you see this early, because most likely you're totaling life with you and your opponent. You're gonna have like what, like 9, 8, 7, etc. sort of life, but later on it's good. Yeah, this is another card. It's a little bit less of a priority to put on top, but once again, you can set it up with Kozuki, with jewelry, and Capone, etc. It's a really, and it's also just a 2K, so straight up. Okay, now I said that this game is all about the mid game, and this is it. We have nothing higher than a 7. Everything from here and early, it's setup and defense. We have a lot of 2Ks in this deck. You have like, I believe like 13 or something 2Ks, right? So you have a lot of 2Ks, and you have a lot of blockers, and then these ones you just want to straight throw out cards, and with your leader ability, you're gonna get out a good amount of 5 costs. So here we go. I'll start out with the Jewelry Body that came out in OP07. 5/6/1. On play, up to one of your opponent's rested characters or dons will not become active. This is good. You can really mess up with people's curves, especially the 8 costs, Gecko Moria, 10 cost big mobs against, other yellow decks. It's a card that's a 5, so you can pretty much set it on top if you really need to, but it's going to be here because it's your best value for this. You get to play a 5 or less, so you have to set something on top, and then you can go ahead and use this ability to play it. It's a really good card. It's over baseline 5,000, so your opponent still has to use a little bit of resources to mess with it. One of your key pieces of the deck, and what makes this deck a little bit more aggressive, even though this is not a red deck, we're building this thing to be very aggressive and very dominating, which is like, this one's good for messing with a rested character and Dawn. This one's for bringing Dawn back up in order to throw out cards or attack with it. So this is Cavendish, EB01, 5/6/1. On play, and then when attacking, you can activate it, on your turn or later on when you attack. If your leader is Supernovas and you have no other Cavendishes, you set 2 as active. So this is one of the best cards to play if you are going first and this is your 3rd turn. This one will allow you to use your leader ability. So best case scenario, once again, let's say you have Luffy turn 1, and then turn 2 with 3 Dawn, you have the Jewelry Bonnie, and then you can set up the top of your life for a another Bonnie, or maybe you want to throw out this Law. You can play it the turn that you do this, because you're gonna have the mana resources. By setting him back up, you can put 1 Dawn attached to Law in order to use the ability. So this is your best case scenario. Luffy into Bonnie, into setting up another 5-drop on top, then Cavendish on that 3rd turn, and then boom, you're good to go. Then next turn, when attacking, because if your opponent doesn't have no way to get rid of it, you're gonna get that free attacking, and 2 Dawn is active. So amazing, best card in the deck. Allows you to just use a lot of stuff. So really good. You want to see this going first for sure. Next off, we have this Law. Okay, so this is Law from OP01. This is a super rookie. This is super rookie. Supernovas 5/6/0. So this is an innate blocker with 6 is pretty good. Then on play, you can bounce back one of your characters to play 3 or less. We talked about it earlier. Your best bounce backs are this Beige, your Luffy's, your Capone Beiges, and your Kozuki Hyoris. So really good to bounce all of those back. And then what do you want? What do you actually want as a 3 cost or less? Well, you definitely just want to play some Bonnies. You want to play Bonnies because it's a blocker and you get to set up the top of your life, or you want to play some not Luffy's, but you want to play these ones. So basically, if you're able to play this and you bounce a card back, because you have a lot of pre-setup for bouncing back, because you're focusing for your ability, you get a blocker here, and then another potential blocker in the form of the Bonnie or the 1 cost green Beige. So there you go. And really quick, I want to talk about the other Law, the one that restands other Supernovas. I thought about putting it in the deck, and also, honestly, if I were to put it in the deck, I would remove this one instead. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's another 5-drop Law that when you summon it, it stands another one of your characters. Obviously, it would work really well with this, but I'm doing some testing. So we're gonna figure out what is better to use if I want more defense, if I want more attack. But this is a pretty good contender for swapping out for that other law. Okay, so because this is a super mid-range deck, I'm foregoing the use of the 6-cost Basil just because this one only summons a 5 or less. And basically, you know, you have 12 of these 5 costs that you want to be using with your leader ability, and then these late ones are just to finish the game off. So it's mid-range with a lot of defense, but we're not running late game defense. All right, now we're going to talk about your finishers of the deck. This is Hody, of course. We're running 3 of these: 780 Hody Jones, Fisherman Pirates, OP06. Obviously can't be searched by anything, no reason for you to put it on top. It has an 8 rush, obviously. Then on play, you could rest up 2 characters or Dawn, no requirements. And you know, even if they have a 10, if a 10 drop Blackbeard Martial Teach, you can freaking, you know, rest it. Then you can add 1 card. You have to add 1 card from the top of your life. However, you get 8,000 attack. It's pretty good. And it also works really well with the Cavendish, because if you play this as early as you can, let's say you play this the turn after going first. Once again, you have Cavendish on turn 3 for 5. This one next, you can get a lot of damage by standing up some of those Dawn and either putting it on Hody for 10,000 or attacking with 8,000 and then putting it on your leader for 7,000 and then the Cavendish, etc. So it's really good, except, you know, this leader ability makes it so you have to use a card from the top of your deck, which essentially means you're self-hurting. So it's a little counterintuitive, but once again, this deck it's supposed to go fast with a lot of defense. So it's a little tough that way. So we're running 3 of these. And then the last card of your deck, if you end up going late game, it's going to be these laws right here. So these are pretty cool. These are from OP10, but I feel like, once again, this card just works much better in the Eustass Kid deck because on play you can give it block, but this one still works. So 790 on play, reveal a Supernovas from your hand and put it on top of your life face down. So the best case scenarios is you want to put something to use as a trigger later, meaning that that promo law or the Basil Hawkins. But if you want to use your leader's ability, of course you want to put something like the Cavendish, the Bonnie, or once again the other law, because if you think about it, well, this will be the rest of it. Then if your leader is Supernovas, give a rested Dawn to your leader. So once again, going first, turn 4, you will have 7, and then assuming you don't have the Cavendish on the field, you can still add 1 Dawn to your leader, and then hopefully your Luffy or something is still on the field for you to use this ability. So turn 4, you drop this law, you have whatever in your hand to set up. Let's say this law. So you have this law, and then you bounce with this law, and then you bring a blocker, which is going to be the Bonnie. The best case scenario is probably these. So you have a good attacker, your leader gets 6,000 to attack, you have this, you bounce back yet another card, so we'll see what that is, and then like and then you have a Jewelry Bonnie. So this is like kind of like you're dropping stuff, and once again, that's the deck. And that's why this leader is a little weird to play, because you want to build in certain ways, either by going early game or late game. The leader's ability dictates you want to get value off of this, either playing it early or obviously playing a little bit late. I'm thinking about making a slow version of the deck so we can get that Basil Hawkins 6 drop, and then even adding more stuff like a Yamato late game. But I just think that because this leader has so much versatility, you want to kind of skew towards swarming the board. But yeah, if you want to play a good Supernova's late game yellow deck, just play Eustass Kid. It fills that role. So that's why I'm trying to build this not in a way that I would build that kid deck, but as we do more testing, as I get more suggestions from you guys. I haven't seen any tournament winners yet with this, just by the listings, because I mean, it's either super tricky, no one has figured it out yet, and may need some more support. But with the initial release, it's a little rough to use. And until someone cracks the code, this is what I'm going to be using for now. So that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.